You know that feeling when you get home from a big trip and you just drop your heavy bags on the floor and you realize that you actually need a vacation just to recover from your vacation?
Oh, yeah, the classic travel hangover. I mean, you just saw 10 cities in 5 days. You took like 1,000 photos, but you were completely exhausted.
Right, exactly. So today, in this deep dive, we are exploring a different way to see the world. It is a mindset shift called slow travel. And, we are keeping the vocabulary clear and the pace really relaxed today, which is perfect if you are an English learner.
Yeah, absolutely. To understand how this works, we are looking at a practical guide through the story of a traveler named Sarah. She basically traded in that exhausting checklist-style tourism for, a much deeper experience.
Because the problem with traditional travel is, honestly, it's just sensory overload. When Sarah was traveling fast, she was constantly packing her bags, snapping photos of famous buildings, and instantly moving to the next town.
Right, and your brain just cannot process that much new information. That kind of rushing leaves you tired and totally disconnected from the places you were actually visiting.
It really reminds me of a food buffet.
Hmm.
Fast travel is like rushing through a massive, overwhelming food buffet. You put a little bit of everything on your plate, but you don't really taste any of it.
That is a perfect analogy. So shifting from that buffet to a really good home-cooked meal, that is the core of slow travel. Sarah solved her travel burnout by staying in one small village for an entire week.
Oh, wow. A whole week in one small village.
Yeah. The primary goal is to feel relaxed. You stop moving so fast and you start soaking in the atmosphere.
And atmosphere is a great word for us to highlight today. It just means the actual everyday feeling of a place, like a peaceful village.
Exactly. And by slowing down to feel that atmosphere, you make room for an authentic experience, the real local life, not just the polished show that is set up for tourists.
But see, here's where I struggle with this idea. To find that authentic atmosphere, you obviously have to get away from the big crowds, right? You do, yes.
But if every traveler suddenly decides they want an authentic, quiet spot, won't travel guidebooks just turn all those peaceful places into crowded tourist traps, too?
Well, yeah, that is the great paradox of modern tourism. Once a quiet spot is printed in a popular guidebook, it kind of loses the very magic that made it special.
Right.
This means you have to step entirely off the beaten path. You have to ignore the mainstream routes to find hidden gems.
Off the beaten path, so going away from where everyone else goes. And a hidden gem would be a beautiful, unique spot that very few people know about.
Exactly. Like in Sarah's case, she just wandered away from the main square.
Okay.
And she found this secret garden and a tiny, dusty bookstore tucked away in an alley. These are unique spots. They are truly one of a kind.
But practically speaking, how do you find a hidden gem if it is not on the map?
You just have to put your phone away and talk to people.
Yeah.
Engaging with locals is like the best filter for finding places that have not been ruined by crowds.
So what do you say? What are some easy phrases you can use? It can be super simple. You can just ask a shop owner, where do the locals eat? Or ask a bus driver, is there a quiet spot nearby?
I have actually tried this. A few years ago, I asked a local for a recommendation, and I found this beautifully quiet cafe in a small European town.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but honestly, I sat there for an hour drinking my coffee, and I just felt like an outsider looking in. I really did not feel any true connection to the culture.
Well, that's because physical location is really only half the battle. Just sitting in a local cafe does not magically download the culture into your brain.
Fair enough. So what was I missing?
Real connection requires active engagement. You have to participate, not just observe.
Which is exactly what Sarah did, right? She didn't just order food and take a picture of it. She actually asked questions.
Right, and that active engagement led to a really unique experience. She ended up learning to cook a local dish from a grandmother right there in the village.
Oh, that is amazing.
It is. When you actively participate like that, you change how your brain encodes the event. You engage multiple senses, the smell of the food, the sound of the language, the physical act of cooking.
And that is how you build lasting memories, instead of just ending up with a phone full of pictures of buildings.
Exactly. It changes the entire purpose of a trip.
So bringing it all together, the ultimate message from our sources today is pretty simple. Take it slow. Enjoy the journey, instead of just racing to the finish line.
And, a really beautiful aspect of this mindset is that slow travel is not just for international flights. It is really a way of looking at your environment, wherever you are.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you to carry into your day. Think about where you live right now. What is a hidden gem in your own hometown that you would recommend to a slow traveler?
That is a really great question to think about.
Take a moment today, go find your own secret garden, and remember to savor that home-cooked meal.